Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video by yours truly. It is finally time to put our money where our mouth is. We will be reacting to Braxophone's video. But before we do, let's go ahead and do this disclaimer right here and then for YouTube in case I do end up getting copyright struck. Dear YouTube, I am getting ready to react to a video from a content creator within our community. We play the same game by the same developer. This developer gave this content creator the green light to officially upload this content to a public platform such as YouTube. So from where I stand, if I then react to this man's video and I critique, comment, educate, and transform this video, it falls under fair use. In this video, there is a disclaimer that says anyone who tries to re-upload or redistribute it is at risk of a copyright strike. So I wanted to provide that context to you so that you understand the picture. And worst case scenario, at least let me know. I will be going out of my way to reach out to you should this happen, why I received a copyright strike with that context provided. Worst case scenario, I will pay for a lawyer's time for 1 hour, bring him onto YouTube, question him, and provide the exact same context so that he can educate not only me, but the entirety of the public platform on the matter as well, so that we actually have good feedback from somebody who is actually an expert, not people pretending to be experts in our community. With that being said, let's go ahead and react to this bad boy. Okay, so unfortunately, I won't be able to give you guys a genuine excitement because I've already seen the content. But now we'll be like going through it again and trying to maintain some form of enjoyment despite all the tension in the air. But I'm gonna try and give proper scrutiny. If there's good moments or good things to highlight, I'll go over those. But for the most part, we're gonna try and just react to this video and pretend we know absolutely nothing about the repercussions or the context that's circulating this shit right now. Let's go ahead and watch it.
Here we go, baby. Poor Yanqing is about to be removed from this planet. 163K, 336K, 500K, boom, 900K damage.
So typically when I see something like this, it actually does nothing to me because I don't know the context provided. This is just speaking for myself. This is generally a good content creator beginning of the video bait to like reel you in. Like it gets me curious, but it doesn't get me hyped because I need to see what did he have invested in his characters to enable that to occur. That's pretty much what goes through my mind. But damn, that old is sick.
On E0, dude, I have the craziest surprise for you guys, of all time. And by of all time, I mean probably just today on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever you want. We got early. I
love one of my favorite thing about Brax's videos is when he silences the music out and then he goes into his humor, his dry humor.
ACHERON. Hoyoverse was kind enough to share their creator experience server, which to my knowledge is just gonna let me get to try things out a little bit early and then show them to you guys, and I'm really excited about it. Now, the one thing I do need to let you guys know is that, of course, all this is actually still subject to change. There's still a week before ACHERON comes out as of me making this video, and because of that, some things could get tweaked. So these are going to be my initial impressions based off of this early version of ACHERON, but things could change, so stay tuned for my guide video. That's going to have everything fully up to date, fully correct, and everything you need to know. So
see, that part there is incredibly important, and it's not hard to just mention that in videos, and it's also why I don't think it should be an issue to react to this video, because you see that being mentioned in the video. Unless somebody who's reacting to it intentionally glosses over it, that's important context, which I would understand why Hoyo would be irritated somebody reacted and just glossed over that context. But again, it's a simple, just let him say his thing so that people know this is not the final product.
One thing I need to let you guys know as well is that if you re-upload this content, it can be taken down by Hoyoverse, so be careful out there. I don't recommend re-uploading my content.
Holy! Oh man,
I don't mind people reacting to it.
I better end this video now, guys.
People watching it, but just know that that risk is there. Anyway, so let's talk about ACHERON. So ACHERON's got a couple really cool things going for her, and I'm sure most of you guys saw her ultimate ability.
I mean, that idol's peak.
This character has one of my favorite designs of all of the Hoyoverse characters that we've seen so far, and specifically when it comes to her actual combat, she is unlike any other character in the game. So you probably heard.
Completely true. I mean, just the fact of the energy recharge being thrown to the curve, and now she has a stack-induced mechanic of getting her ult up. That alone just separates her from any other unit in the game 100%.
What she does from the live stream, but now I'm going to give you the in-depth first look at everything ACHERON. Basically, the way ACHERON works is that she actually has a very special mechanic with her energy. Instead of having a regular energy bank, she has these sort of stacks, and these stacks are called /dream. Now, once you get up to 9 /stream stacks, you can activate her ultimate, which is going to deal a set amount of damage based on the amount of Crimson Knot stacks you have and your build, of course.
This is what I want to provide to this context is once you get up to 9 stacks, I think there's no reason for you to use her ultimate. Typically on a regular energy recharge character, if you don't use their ultimate, then you attack with them, then you're just like wasting energy recharge funneling, correct? With ACHERON, because she's a stack induced character with also a overhaul of charges, you should be able to scale even with her ult being up to ensure that you have maximum Crimson Knot stacks on the enemy's heads. And there's no negative to you scaling while her ult's up. There's only a positive. In fact, essentially, when you reach 9 stacks, you should still not ult. You should be trying to reach 9 stacks plus the over quadrivalent ascendance threshold so that you go into your next ult threshold with more stacks already there. Does that make sense? It'll make sense. I'll be sure to interject while he's going through it, but I don't think you should ever ult with ACHERON at 9 stacks. I think that's actually playing her suboptimally, in my personal opinion.
So there's a couple different ways to get /stream stacks. One of them is by using her skill. Her skill will grant 1 point of /stream, whereas her basic will not. So you don't want to use her basic attack. It's also going to be
unless you have her signature light cone, her basic attack can do it. But I agree. I completely agree with Brax. You pretty much just want to spam skill.
Damage that's going to hit 3 targets. And the second way to get /stream is whenever an enemy gets a debuff on them, it's going to give you 1 /stream stack. Now, because ACHERON's signature light cone, which we don't have equipped right now, also gives a debuff, that can also count towards her stacks. However, this doesn't work for other characters. The reason is that whenever any unit inflicts debuffs on an enemy target using their ability, she'll gain a stack. And this can apply to,
I'll let him finish.
If you use Payla's skill and it applies the ice res from her Eidolons, or it can apply to like Gwenithan with some of her debuffs or her dots. They will get 1 stack, and it's limited to 1 stack per ability usage. However, if she has her signature light cone that can also give a debuff, that is 1 stack from the light cone, but it's also 1 stack from her skill that says gain 1 point.
And this was what I was explaining to you guys in my comprehensive guide about her signature light cone and why you should probably want to pull for it. Or why it's hard to not recommend it. It's because it gives you an extra stack, which enables you to fill up her ult faster, which braxophone is getting ready to cover here in a bit.
Now, if you use Payla's skill that applies Ice Res Shred and also have the defense shredding light cone on her, it will still only give 1 stack. And the reason is,
I'm glad he highlighted that because I actually was, I don't have access to the server, right? I was wondering if I were to put Resolution Shines as a pearl onto my Pela, and then pop Pela ult, would it give me 2 stacks because her ult's debuffing everybody on the field and Resolution Shines as a pearl is giving a debuff with its ability? I don't know. Maybe they could possibly still change that and enable that to occur. That is a chance. But I think Brax is hinting at the fact that you cannot do that as of now. Of course, when she releases though, I'm still going to test it because I need to know for myself with a hands-on experience.
Because her skill, Payla's skill, does not say gives ACHERON 1 stack. Payla's skill just does what Payla's skill does. So effectively, you can only get 1 per action, but if you have her light cone, she gains 1 by default, and the light cone can add another 1. That also means that if you run the defense shredding one, Resolution Shines as Pearls of Sweat.
He's essentially saying that the way they worded ACHERON's kit in the talent, it basically says if ACHERON herself inflicts a debuff with the light cone, that counts as an extra stack. But it doesn't say if ACHERON and other units inflict debuffs with the light cone, they can get the stack buff too. I think that's pretty much what he's getting at.
On ACHERON here, it can also give her 2 stacks as well. Something else that's really important to know is that if you break an enemy with this, it also
braxophone is so in content creator mode, it's hilarious.
Counts as a debuff. So that debuff can add to another stack. So let's go ahead and use her skill, and we're gonna get 1 stack as.
And this is something important to pay attention to. Because ACHERON can give herself a stack with her skill and give herself 2 stacks with her skill if you have her signature light cone, somebody like Sparkle, which Brax is going ham about Sparkle in this video, and Bronya, even Bronya, just Bronya's not nowhere near as skill point friendly as Sparkle. That's why Bronya's not even mentioned. But Sparkle is so good because of the turn manipulation, which I mentioned in my previous video. We're probably going to revisit it. The turn manipulation is crazy though, because she just keeps bringing her back to the field, and basically ACHERON could just battery herself with her skill, and that's emphasized on with the signature light con.
See here, because we don't have her signature. However, if we had her signature, it would have gone up to 2 stacks. This also means that she's basically unaffected by energy mechanics in general. So using Silverwolf's Nihility Light Cone isn't going to do anything for her. So I'm going to go ahead and do this again, 8 stacks. And now we're going to go ahead and get our 9th stack here. And as you can see, we are
that shit sounds so clean.
Completely full. Let's go ahead and use their ultimate. And
the sound when it makes when you go in there is crazy.
That is nasty.
Absolutely. And like, bro, what is that? Is that a moon back? Like, what even is that, bro? That's an eclipse back there.
Love that.
The crazy thing is, it even removes the other teammates. This is how you know you've truly entered into a different domain. Your teammates aren't even showing at the bottom left there anymore, which is wild.
This whole like domain
crazy
expansion thing she has going on is so sick. So basically you have 3 slashes, and they are weak to lightning, so you can't really tell, but each slash is going to take out a chunk of toughness regardless of the enemy's type. So you can actually break an enemy regardless of the typing that they have, and it's pretty disgusting.
What is interesting here is, and I didn't know this, and I'm learning this right now, I thought that this ability would do toughness damage to everyone, but it's looking like it's only doing toughness damage to one target.
Now, the way her mechanics work is that every single one of her slashes that she does, she's going to do 3 slashes and then a finishing move, is that every slash that she does can take away
3 crimson knots. Yes, that's why you want to make sure her, like, you don't want to ult when she has 9 stacks. You want to ult when she has 9 stacks plus the stored threshold to put more crimson knots on their head, and in the meantime store energy for her next you know, when she fucking starts over.
Knots, which are these flowers up above. For every crimson knot stack that goes away when you use one of these slashes, it's going to increase the multiplier of the attack itself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and use this. It's going to bring it down to 6 and dish out some pretty okay damage.
There should also be a damage bonus in there too, on top of increasing the multiplier.
Keep in mind we're unbuffed right now.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, you can see the damage bonus, I believe.
Pretty okay damage.
It just popped up down there, 2 different damage bonuses.
We're unbuffed right now. That's 12.5k, and then he's down to 6. Now we're going to do it again.
There we go.
About 31k.
That's 2 stacks.
Down to
that's the crimson knot stacks.
We're going to do the 3rd and final slash. Boom. And then the 4th finishing slash.
So then you'll see she still has those 3 stacks down there. That's the damage bonus I was telling y'all about in my comprehensive guide.
So as you can see, all of the crimson knot stacks are gone. And wait a second, why does she have an extra stack?
See that 3 right there? I'm glad he zoomed in on that. This right here is the damage bonus you get from using her ultimate.
Here, that's kind of weird. Well, she actually has sort of an overcap mechanic, and that's going to be the next thing we're going to talk about. So
but that 1 stack is not the overcap mechanic. That's her technique. When you open into battle with her technique, you get this perk called Quadrivalent Ascendance.
Has this mechanic where if you go over to her abilities and look at her technique thing, it's hidden away in techniques. It's called Quadrivalent Ascendance, and after using her ultimate, she gains 1 point of slash stream and inflicts 1 stack of Crimson Knot on a single random enemy. Now, this seems like not a...
To add on to that, it resets when you go into a new wave. So when you go into a new cycle and you pop her ult, you get 1 stack back again. So each wave you can do that. You get that 1 stack every time you pop her ult.
Huge deal. Basically, it just means, oh, you get 1 point.
Or not every time. 1 time, I think.
If you go to her talent and you scroll down to some of her traces, she has a trace that makes it so when the battle starts, she immediately gains 5 points of slash stream, which you could see earlier, and applies 5 stacks of Crimson Knot to a random enemy. And then when slash stream reaches its upper limit, for every single point of slash stream that you have that goes over, you gain 1 stack of Quadrivalent Ascendance up to maximum of 3. So you can actually overcap on 3 stacks of her energy and give it back to her after she uses her ultimate, which is super awesome. Basically, if you're driving her with a lot of debuffs in her team, you'll probably get 1 or 2 of these back every single time, and it is really nice to be able to loop her ultimate pretty consistently. Yeah,
and so, but see, that's what I was saying. That's the thing. When you get her ultimate up, you want to ensure that you're reaching that maximum stack threshold. So the team you're building around her is going to be strategically planned to put those stacks on top of the ult being filled up to reach the 3 stack threshold, and then you reset and you go back into you know, a reset with 4 charge stacks instead of 1 charge stack or 2.
That's like the most basic overview of the character I can give. The other things I didn't mention are that she basically gives resistance shred during her ultimate to enemies. This is basically to make it so that when she's breaking enemy toughness, it also is dealing maximum damage regardless of the enemy's weakness. If you're below talent 10, this isn't going to be 20%. As you can tell, it changes, but at talent 10, it's going to be 20%, which is basically ignoring their innate resistances. And the last thing I didn't talk about,
that was the buff I was telling y'all about. That is the exact same as Ruan May's buff, the all type res pen. And once you stack them two together, they pretty much obliterated all resistance in the game, allowing you to do a ridiculous amount of damage.
Talk about is her trace the Abyss, which makes it so that for every Nihility character you have,
oh, that was thunder. You probably heard that one. That was loud as hell.
Skill and ultimate. Now, this kind of negatively affects her team comps in a way because it limits the amount of characters that you can play with her and really get optimal damage on.
I completely disagree with that. With respect to my man Brax, that in my mind that is a positive. I've told y'all about this already. The fact of the matter is, because she can run 2 Nihility units and still perform exceedingly well, that enables you to run whatever the hell Harmony unit like characters you want to run on the other team in the Memory of Chaos. The problem I've been dealing with right now in real time prior to ACHERON's release is the fact that I have to share my Harmony units on both sides, typically 2 Harmony units per side, honestly, or 1 at the bare minimum on one side and 2 at the other side. But with ACHERON coming into the fray, now you could put 2 Nihility units on her team and have all your Harmony units combos to assemble on that one comp, essentially making it so much easier to run hyper growth comps because ACHERON isn't so dependent on a Harmony unit. The other thing I like about 2 Nihility units is because Black Swan and Kafka work synergistically well together, and you put them on a team with ACHERON, and that's actually a really good composition. Plus, ACHERON gets stronger from her passive instead of depending on them to buff her. There's values for a lot of Nihility unit combos that I feel are just an absolute positive, but I can see why he sees it as a negative because, well, the usual dynamic of Honkai Star Rail right now is having access to Harmony units without an incentive to run anything else otherwise.
However, this changes at Eidolon 2, and I'll talk about Eidolons in a little bit.
Man, casually selling y'all the Eidolon 2.
After I show you her damage, but I just wanted to give you guys a bit of a heads up. Basically, it makes it so you
respect though. There's a market for people who will be going for Eidolon 2. That's not a shot at Brax.
You only need to run 1 Nihility unit, and you can get the max damage bonus, which makes E2 very strong. But I know why you're here. I know you want to see the showcase of ACHERON and MOC. So
I do want to let y'all know, Eidolons are overkill. You never need Eidolons. Don't let anybody convince you otherwise. Eidolons are completely paid to win like over the top variables that are completely unnecessary in these gacha games. These games are not that damn hard. It's generally for people who just, spend their money the way whatever the hell they want to spend it.
So let's do it. Let me show you how strong this character is without her signature and with her signature light cone. So first off, we'll go with her signature light cone. I'm going to show you the build that I have just so that you guys are aware. Since I'm playing Sparkle in this team, I'm going to have 109 speed.
So he's sitting at 68.9 over 177, and I'm sure he's rocking her set. So that's going to be 69 plus another 4. That's going to put him at 73. And then if Sparkle has a signature light cone, that's going to be 83. And then what's her name? Fushuan puts him at 93. Somewhere around there.
I'm gonna let Sparkle drag me up. I'm using forward piece Pioneer Die.
Oh, and then he has that. Never mind. So he's at 100. He's over 100% crit chance.
And I'm using the new.
I forgot about that set.
Which is going to increase the attack of your characters by 12%, and then also increase your crit rate based on the amount of other characters that you have that are on the same path as this character. So
yeah,
because we're running multiple Nihility characters, we're getting the 12% crit rate.
12%. It's that his head was in the way, but he pulled a gotcha smack. His head was in the way, but it was it says you get a 12% crit chance if you have 2 Nihility characters on the same team sharing the same path, or not 2 Nihility characters, but 2 units sharing the same path.
Resolution shines as pearls of sweat. The reason I'm doing that is so that she can actually
shit, my head's in the way
attack and still give a stack to ACHERON. So watch this. Boom. She's going.
So she got a stack from ACHERON. Yeah.
Stack. And then I'm gonna go ahead and bring ACHERON to the front. Remember that ACHERON only needs.
I will say this is a interesting composition. I would never run Fushuan with ACHERON. I get it. It's an alternative for some of y'all, but me personally, I'm just not going to run Fushuan with ACHERON. On this scenario, I would run a sustained welt 5,000%. They're all weak to the imaginary. He would completely obliterate them. Plus, I would get my 2 Nihility buffs. Yeah. But I mean, I play on a higher level than most people, so I get it. He's running a sustainer, giving you guys an example. Yeah, it is what it is.
9
Japard or Fire MC, actually Japard, because since this guy's ice, with that fire light cone that puts a dot on him is another option as well. But I'll be honest with you, 10% crit chance from Fu Xuan makes perfect sense over those options I just mentioned.
Stacks, and because she's using her signature, she's going to get 2 from this.
I will say Brax was a little bit, I think he jumped the gun a bit by going straight into Sparkle right here. It would have been better showcase wise to show off how she functions as intended with the 2 Nihility ordeal. It's weird that he went straight into the Sparkle Pella composition. Now, I watched this video already. He said he did it because he thinks that's the best comp for her and he likes Sparkle with her, which is fine. But yeah, you probably should have showed off the double Nihility compositions, the variety of them, so that people can get an understanding on how those comps work as well. But Brax, I completely fucking understand. Content creator to content creator, sometimes you're just whipping some shit up together.
So boom, she already has 9 stacks. And here we go, baby. This is the showcase you've been waiting for. We've got 7 stacks on him, so I'm going to attack him twice. Boom. 38k. Boom. More than that. And then since he has the most Crimson Knot, we're going to go ahead and hit him.
That was a good point. You hit the person with the most Crimson Knots to get more damage. I want to say 245,000 damage on units that don't even have lightning weaknesses is actually wild. Plus, I think he was just running a 2... Wait. No, he wasn't.
For 245k damage. Now, honestly, that's going to get higher. And
I wasn't paying attention.
Gonna see why.
Let's go back to that again. I'm sorry.
Since he has the...
Did he like...
38 been waiting for. We've got...
Jesus. That's a long ultimate.
9 stacks. And because...
Oh, okay. I see.
She's going to get 2 from this.
So he just went straight into ult without even using Pella or any debuff. He did no buffs on her at all. Okay, that makes sense. We can go for it now. I just wanted to see.
That's going to get higher, and you're going to see why. Once we have more Crimson Knot stacks, once we have Defense Shred, once we have Sparkle's ultimate, that's going to stack up way crazier. One of my favorite things about ACHERON is that it's just whenever an enemy has a debuff on them, right? So if I break this Warp Trotter, it counts as giving her a stack because the Warp Trotter gets the debuff for break.
Yeah, I mean, any debuffs, period. Friend, foe, or like breaking shields. Yeah, it counts.
See, we get 7 stacks, even though Fu Xuan doesn't debuff anyone. So what I'm going to do next...
I was just thinking about if you break multiple shields at once. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I'm gonna pull ACHERON.
I forgot. When you do multiple debuffs at once, it's not happening unless it's ACHERON herself doing it, I believe. I wonder if ACHERON breaks 3 shields at once, does she get stacks back? Because I don't know that answer yet. I actually don't know that answer yet.
To the front with Sparkle. We have Sparkle's buff. We have Pela's defense debuff. And let's go ahead and ult this and see how much damage she does. He's got 8 stacks. We're gonna hit him. 156,000 because it's gonna.
She broke his shield though. I want to be clear here. Yeah, so that was a shield break right there. So that's definitely impacting the damage.
He's got 8 stacks. We're gonna hit him.
That was a shield break and a lightning dot put on his head. When that Trotter dies, he procs that lightning dot 50% of its damage. So shield break, lightning dot, proc 50% of damage is added into there. A little bit boost of the damage you're seeing right there.
156,000 because it's going to be AoE. It's going to hit.
I was going to say, that's another thing too. 5 units on the field. She's an AoE unit in her ultimate. So in a single target scenario, these numbers are nowhere near this high as well.
All the enemies. Boom. Another 150k. And the final hit.
What's wild about this is 800,000 damage in an AoE scenario is actually wild, bro. That's actually crazy because that means she can be good in pure fiction. She's not just a unit that you use in MOC and then falls off hard in pure fiction like Jing Liu.
All the way up to 798k, dude. What in the hell is that character? That is insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is E0. This is E0 ACHERON. This is with her S.
Look at crit damage, bro. 345.
So keep
power of Sparkle.
But E0 ACHERON hitting almost 800,000 damage. We go ahead and pull up ACHERON to the front. Use her ultimate. Here we go, baby. He's got 9 stacks. Poor.
Okay, so he just skipped straight into that and absolutely mind-fucked the hell out of me. Okay, that's fine. So we got 3 swords, 1 Trotter. He's got 2 defensive debuffs plus Pella's ice buff. That doesn't matter. He's got 9 Crimson Knots on his head. And he's got another debuff. Oh, that's the all type res pin. Yeah, so his all type res pin from ACHERON's ultimate. ACHERON has a crit damage boost, a crit rate boost. She's already ulted him 1 time, it appears, because he has 3 stacks down there. Yeah, I believe she already ulted him because this 3 stack thingy right here comes from you popping her ult and then she gets the 3-stack buff. So this is her second time ulting, I believe. I'm not sure. He edited. This is why I don't like to edit stuff. I wish he would have showed that. But based off of what I've learned, this happens when you use her ult. So maybe he did that just so he could showcase the damage of her with maximum, like, you know, debuffs and shit. But that's actually important context.
Yanqing is about to be removed from this planet.
So now that you saw the 3 debuffs, wait.
163k.
Oh, never mind. I was wrong. Because now there's 2 different 3 debuffs. What the hell did he get that from? Hold on. We got to learn this. Where did he get that from?
ACHERON hitting almost 800.
What else could possibly give her 3 more? Oh, Sparkles. Sparkles buff. That's what it is.
Damage.
Never mind. I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
Ultimate.
So this is Sparkles buff. Sorry.
Yanqing is about to be removed from this planet.
There's ACHERON's buff.
163k. 336k.
Wait, that buff was already at 3-2 though. Never mind. I think I was right. I'm trying to keep up here. Yeah, so look, it already started off at 3 stacks, which means it probably was hiding in the back of her buffs. Because that does happen when you get a lot of buffs on a character, they just start shoving them towards the right. But it just popped up with 3 stacks and he hasn't even ulted 3 times yet. So that was interesting. Or it's possible that the stacks work different too.
160.
I'm merely commenting at this point. I'm trying to learn.
3k.
Don't take me for literal on this one, guys.
500k. Boom.
In due time, when she releases, I'll know for sure.
Damage on E0, dude. What the hell? MOC12 E0. Dude, they cooked. Holy shit. Let Hoyo cook. That is insanely good damage. That is absurd. Now, the downside is that this is like very...
I would like to reiterate that the damage should be insane if you're paying money for the damage, right? Like, this is important to establish. This is why we got to bring it back down. Now, Brax, he's doing a phenomenal job, like being a content creator. But let's bring us back down here. If she's not doing a bunch of damage after you just bought a potential $300 light con, then what the fuck is going on here, right, guys? Like, let's be real here. If she's not doing 900k with a signature light con, and she's literally the cream of the crop, she's the emanator, I would hope she's doing that kind of damage.
Very bursty damage, right? Like, if you don't actually have her ultimate up consistently, a lot of her damage just disappears, just vanishes into the void. Like, as you can see there, we did 67k single target, which is still pretty good, but
that's actually really solid. And I would also say, yeah, I mean, 67k with this composition, that's actually solid.
keep in mind, we have Sparkle Ultimate.
And you only have 1 nihility unit. That's also why that's only 67k.
We have Sparkle's skill. We have Payla's defense shred. We have all those things to get her.
You do, but you got a Fushuan over there and an overkill on crit rate to ensure that everything crits. So like this was, and I get it. You were doing this to ensure that everything crits so that the showcase comparing to what you're about to go to, which is the free-to-play light cone, or not free-to-play, the gacha light cone, you did that to make sure everything looked the same, but that is way too much crit rate on a character, like overkill crit rate on a character.
Hit 67k, so her ultimate is a majority of her damage. So in a way,
she would do way more damage if you took off some of that crit rate and gave her some more investment. Like I said, a second nihility over Fushuan is infinitely better.
This is almost like very.
And Yang King's weak to the imaginary element too, which means you really can do sustained welt in this regard as well. It doesn't have to be sustained welt though, but I just think Fushuan is just a horrible option unless you're just, you know, skill issue player. Like, with all due respect, because she's literally so comfortable, you don't take any damage. She's designed for pure comfort.
Very Eula, right? This is very Eula. But just for fun, he's at 1%. Let's go and boom, boom, boom. And as you can see, with less Crimson Knot stacks and without the defense shred and stuff, it's a lot less damage. So that is the power of ACHERON. So
what's wild is he did prove that is the power of ACHERON, considering that he's using Fushuan in that 4th slot.
Now, granted, again, this is with their signature light cone. It's E0, and the stats that I have are very achievable. These are not even close to as good as Fob's stats on his main account. Realistically, these stats are incredibly attainable, and you can get even better stats.
Pay to win stats.
That's in this. But I've heard a lot of people say that her damage is locked behind her light cone, and I've seen a lot of math that honestly kind of supports that. So we're going to go ahead and switch to Good Night Sleep Well, which is the best 4-star light cone you can use for her. And I'm going to show you guys how well this one does in comparison. All right, so this one's going to play out a little bit differently. You'll see soon that we basically are going to take way longer to build up our ultimate in the first place. We're only going to get 1 stack when we skill, right? So we're not going to...
So you only get 1 stack, and versus the 2 stacks thing, yeah, that's definitely noticeably longer. I'll agree. That is.
actually be able to ult until the next Sparkle turn if we want to really optimize our damage here. But it's not holy over just yet because we do get the overcap stacks, which I do think comes in super clutch when you don't have her signature weapon.
So this implies, because I've been thinking something else this whole time, but Brax is making it seem like once you reach the maximum threshold of stacks, once you reach 9 stacks with ACHERON and her ult is up, you can't get more stacks after that. Like you have to get it simultaneously as you get her ult up. So that's what he's implying when he's delivering this message. I don't know what he means by this, but from where I stand, my understanding was you pop her skill or whatever, you reach the 9 stack threshold. But if you continue to add more debuffs while she's at her 9 stack threshold, they just start storing. So, but the way he's speaking about it right now, it's leading me to believe that's not how it works.
Go ahead and use this on ACHERON to get the 3-turn extension. Gonna use her skill, go right into it.
So he got the 9 stacks. See, what I find, what's annoying is this is like, bro, spam the ult immediately. I wish he would could not spam the ult and then use the skill so that I could see if they store. But he didn't even, like, bro just went straight into that ult.
And then use her ultimate. Let's see how much damage we do.
See, now he's at 0 stacks. He's at 0 stacks, but he also just went straight into the ultimate. So it's like, I'm probably going to go back to find if there's a point where he does more debuffs before, but I think he spams her ult every single time.
200k, 300k, and all the way up to 600k.
Now I saw right there,
and all the way up to,
yeah. See, no. I didn't miss that. I did not miss that this time. So I was right. It does stack up.
Defense debuffs, and we have 9 stacks.
Watch here. When he does these ult ticks, the 3 stack buff is gonna start. It's gonna like consecutively climb versus go straight to 3 stacks.
Let's see how it goes.
This is what I was talking about earlier. See, look, 1 stack down there. You see that? You see this bad boy right here? 1 stack.
7k.
2 stack. Yeah. So earlier then he already had ulted, I believe, because he started off with 3 stacks earlier.
200k, 300k, and
yeah. Hold up.
all the way up to 6.
This time he didn't start off with 3 stacks during the ult, which means the damage comparison might have been a little inaccurate.
600k.
It might have been. See, this is the problem. All the jumping around and stuff, I can't say for sure. I don't know for sure, but the damage comparison, what appears to be, he did an ult with the signature light cone starting off at 3 stacks. And with this one, he simultaneously built them up with each hit. Also on this one,
4-star light cone. No, I'm going to be honest. That is a massive damage decrease.
That's what I wanted to get to.
200k.
I wanted to also iterate, he didn't break the shield of the guy as well. And once you break their shield, you get another 10% damage increase going forward. Let me let this play all the way through again.
And all the way up to 600.
So that's 600k. We're going to go right back over here to this other one. This is important context. It really is. Because and Brax didn't intend to do this. I know he didn't. You got to understand, when you're like content creating and just trying to showcase off characters, it's easy to fucking like get lost in the details. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to get to the bottom of is how much stronger is her light cone really on ult? Because dude, that good night and sleep well at S5 is a strong light cone, and it's hard for me to believe that there's a 200,000 damage gap between that light cone and this light cone. I'm skeptical of it.
I'm just giving her a stack because the Warp Trotter gets the debuff for break.
Let me see if I can go back.
Stacks, even though Fushuan doesn't debuff anyone. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to pull ACHERON up to the front with Sparkle. We have Sparkle's buff. We have Pela's defense debuff.
Yep.
And let's go ahead and ult this and see how much damage.
Let's see here. Hold up.
He's got 8 stacks.
So if the stack starts from 1 to 2 to 3, then it's fair game. Apart from him breaking the shield, the fact that his first hit broke this guy's shield enabled him to do more damage on this guy, which also inflates the numbers a bit. But the big one is, did he already have 3 stacks when he used this ult? It's important.
So gonna hit him.
He already had 3 stacks. See, it started off at 3. So based off of the evidence the detective Gacha Smack has done, this damage comparison isn't fair for the signature light cone versus the Gacha light cone. It's not, because he's already at 3 stacks going into the rest of this ult. Plus he broke that guy's shield, did even more damage, plus with the break effect damage, and the Trotter exploded on him. So this damage
156,000 because it's going to be AoE. It's going to hit all
can't
the
be representative of the damage gap of Good Night Sleep Well and this signature light cone.
Boom, another 150k. And the final hit all the way up to 790.
So 800k versus 600k
Sparkle turn, if we want to really
is a bit unfair.
But it's not hoy over just yet because we do get the overcap stacks, which I do think.
I want to look at one more thing. This is 8 knots on him.
Gonna go ahead and use this on ACHERON to get the 3-turn
Hold
extension.
up, let's see.
Gonna use her skill, go right into it, and then use her ultimate. Let's see
Hold
how
up.
much damage we do.
Hold up.
It's not gonna be.
So he has 9 stacks in this situation. Did he have 9 stacks back here? Sorry guys, we gotta do some studying. It looks like he did. Oh yeah, he did. So he had 9 stacks once she used her skill. Wait.
The front with Sparkle. We have Sparkle's buff. We have Payla's.
Never mind, he's at 8.
Buff. And let's go ahead and ult this and see how much damage
Okay, he's at 8.
she does. He's got 8 stacks. We're gonna hit him.
Okay, that's fair. Oh, it only takes away 2. Okay. So I thought it was take away 3 still. So it only takes away 2 if you're at 8 stacks to make sure you get 3 stacks on the next 2 ones. So that little 1 stack he's missing definitely provides a little bit of benefit to the signature light cone. But overall, it's still kind of butchered the Good Night and Sleep Well showcase.
156,000 because it's gonna be AoE. It's gonna hit all the enemies. Boom,
Okay.
Another.
Yeah. Overall, he still butchered this one showcase.
To get the 300k damage we do
Because it had to build its stacks up as she's doing the ult. He also didn't break a shield.
All the defense debuffs, and we have 9 stacks. So let's see how it goes.
And the trotter didn't explode,
97K,
re-amplifying the dot.
200k, 300k, and all the way up to.
Overall, I would say this is probably closer to 700,000 damage. I guarantee it. It's probably like, if I had to guess it, it's probably like 675,000 to 700,000 damage. If he started off with 3 stacks already there, if he broke Guy's shield and the trotter then amplified the dot after that, I would say it's probably closer to 700,000 damage, which brings that gap damage difference much closer. However, we also have to take in consideration that you're going to be ulting more often with her signature light cone, and that is still going to widen that damage gap. But the other thing I want you guys to understand is this is more than enough damage to obliterate everything in the game, like just absolutely decimate it. So you don't need the signature light cone and it's all said and done. This is always going to be something that people are doing because they just want to see bigger damage numbers.
600k, even with a 4-star light cone. No, I'm gonna be honest, that is a massive damage decrease. That damage decrease is crazy. The amount of damage that you lose.
he's capping a little bit, but to be fair, bro wasn't he wasn't fucking sitting here like studying his goddamn showcases like a math test, I'm sure.
From her signature light cone, if you don't have it, is absurd. Especially for Good Night Sleep Well being one of the best 4-star light cones for most Nihility characters. The amount of damage bonus you get from this is absolutely insane. We have it at S5 too. So
True.
Basically
that's what I was trying to tell y'all. Like, dude, 24% damage bonus times 3 stacks, bro. That's 72% damage bonus. That shit is wild.
The full damage bonus here, we're still getting the full 72%. It's max level. Our crit stats are cracked out. Like, we have so many things going.
But this is just like so unnecessary as well. But he had the same damn concept, to be fair to him, on the other signature light cone. But the good, dear God, bro, like, Bushwan's giving me a headache
for us right now. And just unfortunately, the damage was so much lower.
I wish he would have showcased you know, Kafka and Black Swan. I wish he would have showcased Gwen Ifen, like a free-to-play comp with Pella. That's a good free-to-play one. I wish he would have showcased Welt, like a whole a sustainless composition with Welt with these same scenarios, because that would have been cool to watch.
This is the main thing that I've heard that is a problem for most players that are looking to pull for ACHERON. Because ACHERON is not a character that needs her signature light cone, but she is definitely the closest one to it. Her damage without her signature is pretty dang good still, but it's not going to be meta defining if you don't have her light cone. Her signature light cone makes up for over a 30.
The thing is, meta is such a nuanced discussion in and of itself, because so many different CCs and theory crafters will analyze a character's comparison to meta based off of different investments. So somebody will say this character's meta, but they won't consider that Jingliu has her signature light cone. But if you take Jingliu's signature light cone off, her performance goes down drastically as well, right? So it's a very nuanced discussion. What I'm saying is Brax isn't right nor wrong in this scenario. It really does depend, but it's not even unfortunate. I think at the end of the day, this is just a wrong way to look at it. all you got to say is like she does so much more damage with her signature light cone, or she does noticeably higher damage. Plus, considering she can ult more, that's a big damage difference. However, she's still incredibly strong as a free to play character, and it's not even a negative. It's not. Like, I think this is what's wild. Like, I completely disagree with anybody who's saying she's not free to play friendly. Like, that's such another subjective stance. Like, you could just look at somebody's account and tell if somebody's if a character's not free to play friendly. Like, at the end of the day, bro, if you ain't got no DPSs, she's free to play friendly.
50% difference in overall damage, and in a worst case scenario for free-to-play players, it can make up over 50%. So it's an absolute monster of
I don't know about that.
light cone. And when I say that this character is not free-to-play friendly, what I mean is that if you don't pull for her light cone, it is a massive damage difference. Now, that's not to say
And to be fair to Rex, yeah,
say that she's bad without it, because I genuinely don't believe that. She still trucks. She hits an insane amount of damage. But the problem is, if you're going to invest into a 5-star character like ACHERON, you may be better off investing into a character like Jingliu instead, because you don't have to pull Jingliu's signature light cone for her to be very strong. Because ACHERON doesn't have a...
Well, to be fair, I think every Jingliu owner probably has her signature light cone. So I disagree with Brax on that, but he is absolutely completely within his rights to have his own opinion. And at the end of the day, this is an opinionated conversation. We're not opinionated, that's the wrong word. Opinionated is one of those words that you think is an extension of opinion, but it actually means like you're sharing your opinion in a conceited way or whatever.
A lot of other...
What I'm trying to say is this is a subjective conversation.
Options for light cones in Nihility class, not ones that are going to pump that much damage. So it's a really tough position for her to be in, especially because there's so many people that love this design and love this kit. And
I don't think it's a tough position at all. I think it's a very easy choice. Setting aside my my simping for ACHERON, saying she's not free to play is the most wild shit, to be honestly. I'll be honest. Like, what? Because people too often try to and analyze a character based off the present instead of analyzing the character based off the present and the future. More Nihility characters will come out. She will always be a DPS that synergizes with debuffers. Always. Her ultimate is broken, and she will furthermore enable your other team to have an easier time building the team because you have harmony units accessible to them. That's why I mean, it's like nuances of these discussions are so fascinating, because I 100% think she's free to play with that context provided.
Now, I'm not going to try to discourage you from pulling, because if she's a character that you've been looking forward to and you want to pull for her anyways, then I would honestly just suggest getting her light cone. But if you are just looking for the most free to play friendly meta units to pick up to beat MOC, I do think she's going to cost you a little bit more. And maybe...
Yeah, and everything he's saying is completely fair.
That's why they're giving us 30 pulls for anniversary instead of 20. I don't know, but the difference is noticeable. And you
they're just being petty towards the Genshin Impact branch.
Feel it if you have the opportunity to play both of these. Okay, so Yanqing has 9 stacks of Crimson Knot. He has the 2 defense debuffs. We have the Sparkle buffs, and we're going into our ultimate with Good Night Sleep Well S5. So this is going to be the best 4-star option at S5, and it's not even super free to play friendly. And we're going to cut him up. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, but then this is, again, though, keep in mind, he doesn't have his swords out. So you just did a showcase for the Good Night and Sleep Well without without the AoE shit you've been doing for everything else. So you already butchered the damage showcase fairness, because it's just 2 targets on the field. You would lose a lot more damage as well with the signature light
boom
comp.
46, boom 98, boom 155.
That's actually insane that she did 320k damage with just 2 targets on the field, bro. And her stacks were consecutively stacking. 1 stack, 2 stack, 3 stack. Yep. So she'll do even more damage the second time through.
320k. And granted, you know, the amount of targets definitely matters. The amount of targets will definitely affect the overall damage output.
Yep. Brax has done a phenomenal job touching up on points I'm like making sure to bring up in case he doesn't, by the way. He's done a phenomenal job. Excellent content creator.
So if he had 5...
I will say, though, bro, you're sleeping on Well 100%.
targets there, it probably would have been a lot more damage. 300k, essentially single target. It's probably a little bit less. It's probably just over 200k. Even hitting over 200k single target.
That's the other thing people have to understand. Thank you. This just reminded me. Free to play wise is not just ACHERON you have to to make an analysis for in the free to play shit, because she has team comps where other people can deal damage. Like that shit's crazy. She's not the type of person who hogs the damage. If you run her in dot comps, other people are contributing to that damage factor as well. It's not like you have to like build around her like Jing Yuan.
is pretty significant, but the fact that it takes 3 of those ultimates to whittle down Yuanqing's health does kind of suck, and you're definitely gonna feel that damage difference. With their signature Lycone, you probably would have seen as
we're halfway through this video, guys. I know I'm doing a lot of critiquing and yapping. I'm actually just trying to show y'all that there's no absolute fucking reason for this video to not be scrutinized or just commented upon. Often at times, it's actually boosting the benefit of the company. Like, I think I've done it. I think all I've done so far is like help them with regards to this showcase.
Close to 50% just with that ultimate. So that is the tough and grim reality about ACHERON. She is an amazing character, but her light cone is so insanely strong for her specifically, and it really does kind of suck. If you're trying to get a really strong character, or if you just really like ACHERON's design, you want to main her, then I do recommend getting her light cone. Not because I think her light cone is universally good on other characters or anything, but specifically because she gets such a massive damage increase from it. So you might be wondering why I had only one Nihility character in my team. I guess I should have explained this sooner, but yeah, I was only running one Nihility character, which is super weird, right? Well, the reason is actually that Sparkle is so strong that it's actually better to run one Nihility and Sparkle than it is to run 2 Nihility.
What's funny is I want to pull up my video. Actually, we don't have to pull it up. This reaction is already getting pretty long. I literally said this in my comprehensive guide. You can go watch it. I said, ACHERON, just because ACHERON's kit states that she gets a massive damage bonus with 2 Nihility characters, doesn't mean that that's going to be the best composition in the game for her. Now, I do believe that that will be the case, but what I said is there's units, and I specifically said, like Ruanmei and Sparkle, who are just so damn broken that they can just override and still be more valuable than the 2 Nihility incentive they're giving you to build Nihility units on the team. I literally said that. And now Brax is coming out and saying that he thinks this comp is better than running 2 Nihility comps, which I'm not going to say I agree with because I haven't tested every composition in the game. But I told y'all I could see it happening. She is that broken because of the turn manipulation and the damage bonuses.
Any other Nihility
especially a pokey Sparkle, relatability build Sparkle. 175 speed Sparkle is 100% providing crazy value for fucking ACHERON.
That do so much for other characters on your team that can outdo Sparkle. However, this is by
Pokey, just in case you have the balls to react to my reaction, that was 100% a shot at you. Mwah.
A very small margin. Technically speaking, if you wanted to, running another Nihility character could also be very close to the damage you're getting with Sparkle. So it just depends on the amount of characters you have invested in. Like if you haven't invested in Guinaifen,
so Brax is only Nihility character, he's pretty much saying what I was saying. Like he's not completely writing it off and saying it's the end all be all composition, but he's saying there's potential that other compositions are performing on the same level.
Invested in, and you also have Sparkle, then this team's probably going to be the best thing you can do.
But
if you've invested in some of the other units, like specifically
also Brax,
Guinaifen is basically
just in case I know I'm being like pretty damn critical. I'm doing it intentionally for the whole purpose of me reacting to this video. You're doing a fantastic job with this whole entire guide, brother. I hope you're not taking my scrutiny like to heart or anything. I'm just literally just sharing my thoughts, freely.
Other person you're going to be able to run that's a 4-star, then this is like a decent setup. It's not going to be as strong as the Sparkle setup. If you want one that is about as strong as a Sparkle setup, you want to run Silverwolf. And the issue with Silverwolf is obviously the single target stuff. But if you manage to debuff enemies with her, which she can apply so many debuffs, then this is one of her stronger teams as well, is running the
I want to mention this composition because it is worth mentioning. The fact, dude, this is a very strong comp for ACHERON because she has absolutely 0 defensive shred in her kit. And because she has absolute 0 defensive shred in her kit, and these two just strip the defense off the enemy, this can enable her to do wild single target damage. So this is going to be the boss shredder composition, if I'm being honest with you. Boss shredder, this comp 110%. You don't need Fu Xuan. I will always say that, but you could use her, I guess. I guess.
Silverwolf defense shred, and then the 4th slot can just be a flex. Now, some people are definitely going to be wondering about this, and I was wondering about it too. It's one of the first things I asked is Welt going to actually be playable?
I have to Scooby-Doo.
Can you play Welt as a sustain unit with ACHERON? And the answer is sometimes, if you get really lucky. Because the thing is, Welt's sustainability
skill issue, bro,
is not so consistent that he can.
Nah, bro, skill issue. I'm trolling. To be fair, this is an actual skill issue situation. If you know how to time Welt's ultimates with bosses trying to do their 2-turn attacks, if you know how to get his ult up and build accurate effect hit rate because you understand effect resistance versus effect hit rate in different scenarios, there's no way you can't run a sustainless Welt. I ran a sustainless Welt in the worst scenario possible. In the last tournament I participated in, it was like a 7-turn cycle and they still couldn't kill me. That should go to tell you just how crazy Welt actually is with regards to sustain in the right hands.
All the time. So it's going
But y'all knew this was going to come for me.
You kill the enemies fast enough to where if the enemies do get a chance to attack, do get a chance to slip through the cracks, that you're not going to die. The other thing with Welt is that he's specifically effective against imaginary enemies. You might be thinking, but Brax, he imprisons enemies regardless of their weakness with his ultimate. Yes, but you don't only need him imprisoned from his ultimate. You need him imprisoned from his basic attack and skill. You need to be able to break enemies. That's part of being able to delay them. That's part of being able to...
Correct. Running Ruan Mei with Welt is definitely strongly advised from me personally.
Sustained with Welt, and it is pretty tough. Now, I will say, one benefit that Welt does have is if you have this very specific light cone that not every single person in the game has, where you can get some energy back whenever you hit enemies that are defense shredded, because you're going to be...
Well, it works better. I would only run that on him if you're running him next to Pella, which you probably will be running him next to Pella, but otherwise, you don't need that light cone on him either. I'd put Resolution Shines as a Pearl on him, and I'd put that light cone on Pella. Or you can do it vice versa too. Yeah, you can do it vice versa. You can also do Good Night and Sleep Well on Welt.
Running Pela
if you want to do some damage.
Every single ACHERON team. Every single ACHERON
Welt's very versatile.
Team wants Pela. It's going to be very rare that you can get away with not running Pela. The reason is because there's not a lot of other options, and because Pela is AoE defense shred. She has debuffs on her skill if you have Eidolons. She has debuffs on her ultimate. She's just such a solid unit for ACHERON specifically. She counts as one of those Nihility characters, and it's basically impossible to replace her. However, you can also run Welt instead of Sparkle as your second Nihility, and then also run a sustaining character. So like if you're going to play Violet,
but keep in mind, guys, Brax is right now he's catering to the masses, to the vast majority of content creators.
Example, and you have Welt as your second Nihility.
I mean, vast majority of players, not content creators. Jesus.
The DPS. Just build him full damage. Screw his imprisoned. It doesn't matter. We don't care. We just want damage from Welt. Welt can deal some pretty solid damage, especially when Pela's defense buffs. The imprisoned's gonna be nice, but it is what it is. But the perfect ideal team is Sparkle, Pela, Welt. If you could solo sustain.
That team sounds insane. I'll be honest. That team sounds insane because now you're getting the two Nihilities buffs and you're getting the Sparkle turn manipulation. That team sounds fucking incredible. And that's one I'm definitely gonna be running. Like her damage performance and the team's damage performance overall is probably absolutely outrageous. I'm telling you, because she's defensive shredding every enemy on the team, enabling Welt to deal damage. She's giving a damage bonus to both Welt and her, and she's turn manipulating ACHERON at the same time in the same sense. Plus, if you have her signature, it's 10% crit rate to both of them, plus damage like me. You don't have to go for that at all. I'm just saying, this comp sounds dirty.
With Welt. If you can't do that, most of the time I'm going to suggest just Sparkle, Pela, ACHERON, and then a sustain character.
That's fair.
Why I was running Sparkle because
Brax, you are 100% sleeping on Black Swan with ACHERON. You got to try that. I don't know if you tried it yet, but you got to try that, bro. Like, nah, you can't just be sitting here saying only run that comp and just completely forget about Black Swan, bro. Like, nah, her and Kafka, bro. Maybe it's a chance I'm tripping, but that comp. Because at times in practice, shit can be different. That shit sounds dirty in the scenarios with the elemental advantages.
She actually, unironically, is one of her best pairings, even though you miss out on a big portion of her talent that's going to give her extra basic attack skill and ultimate damage. Sparkle is so strong that she beats that.
I can totally see it. I can totally see it.
Two more things I want to go over with you guys. One is her Eidolons. Her Eidolons are...
This is where we end the video. I'm not going over Eidolons. With all due respect, I don't support like going for all them goddamn Eidolons. I don't even, you'll notice I never, ever cover them shits. I might gloss over E1, but I never even go past that because I just don't think these games require you to spend money to make your characters better to complete the content in the game. But to the defense of whales and dolphins, you can play the game how you want to play. I have every bit as right to say I don't fuck with that shit though. But that's gonna wrap it up for this reaction video. Hopefully you guys had some good insight. Peace, love, and happiness, and I'll catch you on the flip side.